Hello, 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 everybody, and welcome back to the SirLinksalot podcast. I am your adoring, attentive host, Artemis Peacock, and I am here with our CEO, Nick Altimore.
Hello.
So, today we're going down the rabbit hole with a combination of marketing / SEO hot takes mixed in with regular generalized hot takes. Sound good?
Sure. Yeah,
Okay.
let's do it.
So, I need you, Nick, to answer in the format of. Actually, not all of these are the same format this time. So I'm going to let you just go off the cuff and you can
Free roll format, huh?
Yeah.
Oh,
You can
fun. I love that because, I love to go on tangents and then get lost and forget how I even got there. So,
Yeah,
very much
I feel like
me.
if we even go down like most of this list, I'll be impressed just because I know you have a lot of feelings.
Oh, shoot. Okay. All right. Let's see what you got.
All right. So the first one, I'm just going to start with an SEO hot take. Keyword stuffing is still effective.
No. Here's why you're dumb is because you haven't been studying for who knows how long now. And, yeah, that's so antiquated that I can't even come up with an excuse for you. These algorithms have all gotten incredibly complex. They understand the manipulation we used to use. That's like close to 10 years ago manipulation where you could keyword stuff. And like it was interesting if you go back to the old videos, which are kind of fun to look at now from the beginning of SEO, where it was a few pioneers that were really just hacking these systems. They would keyword stuff beyond belief. They would use garbage spun content and they would rank automatically. If you go around keyword stuffing now, it's going to get sniped in a minute. It's so easy to tell that this kind of manipulation is going on. And no, if anything now, so as not to just, I'll provide a little bit of a solution rather.
Yeah.
For the algorithm, and this includes LLMs like ChatGPT, etc., you want to look incredibly natural. I was speaking to somebody over the last 2 days who had reached out to me asking if his Freedom Links account still existed. I was like, dude, Freedom Links was my first company. That hasn't existed for close to like 7 years now. And I'm like, did you take a little break? And he's like, yeah, I took a break. Now I'm back. And he was asking me a lot of things that seemed positioned in that era, right? And I had to come back and I go, well, okay, basically, it's now the era of do all things and do all things properly and naturally. You're trying to build authority based on a narrative that looks incredibly natural. Not only are you a website that promotes goods or even sells goods, you are the voice that talks about those goods. You've got people attached running this business, otherwise known as EEAT. You've got backlinks, high quality, natural anchors, building the overall authority of your network. You're on your socials, providing video, providing posts, etc. But it's a all-encompassing, functioning, living, breathing organism that you need to give to these algorithms now. And if you're trying to find one little hack that used to work 10 years ago, it's not going to work for you.
Right.
It's about finding a blend of things that work. And yes, everybody here, at least the vast majority, are here to learn gray hat SEO, right? And in saying that, you have to sprinkle in that I always call it manipulation, but I feel like I put a lot of people off when I use that word. So
Maybe just kind of like a alternative spicy SEO techniques.
Yeah. Alternative spicy SEO techniques sounds really good. I like that. Let's
We're gonna brand it.
Yeah, whatever. We'll figure out.
Asked. You guys need to sprinkle in some
Yeah,
asked.
just do a little asked out there. You heard it here first. Artemis came up with it. Don't let anybody else tell you otherwise. Number one.
Yeah, tell everybody, just put your asked out.
Mm-hmm.
And you will have proper SEO.
I'm
done
not
for
gonna
you.
lie, it's kind of silly, but I feel like yeah, it's worth throwing in the yeah, acronym
To help people remember it.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
we're gonna stick with that one. And if you guys see anybody using AST in like 5 years, and just know it's gonna be the next like crazy thing in the SEO universe, just like the what was it we were talking about in the last podcast? Somebody coined a very
Oh, uh
SEO
yeah, the spicy
terminology.
marketing thing, right?
Yeah, I'll remember it in like 5 minutes, but I feel like AST is gonna be the
Yeah.
next one.
You put me on the spot. I went blank immediately, and now I'm scared.
No, I have to go back and rewatch it too, but it's fine.
Yeah.
So the next one is going to be this is just like me. This is like from me. Okay. Mary Kill, France edition. Brigitte Macron, The Guys Who Robbed the Louvre, or the Mona Lisa.
Oh gosh. I feel like I'm gonna get in trouble with this one.
No, it's censored. You can say whatever you want when there's a
Mary 100% the Mona Lisa, because I am a huge fan of Leonardo da Vinci. As a matter of fact, I've been going down some very interesting rabbit holes with him because one of my friends, my good friends, started studying art history recently. And we'd been discussing it a little bit. And Leonardo da Vinci was one of the, I remember in elementary school doing a presentation on his work, which went over the Mona Lisa a whole lot. And that kind of got my fascination going. But recently I started looking at the differences between Leonardo da Vinci and the other great at the time, Michelangelo. Um, and I identify much more, and this might sound bad as a founder CEO, but with Leonardo, because he was this creative guy that like spent a lot of time going into himself, procrastinating work. Is people that worked with him would get fed up with him because he would, miss deadlines. He would never complete stuff. But
You relate
Michelangelo,
to
on the other hand, oh yeah, I can relate to him completely. Michelangelo, on the other hand, um, he got things done. And what you'll come to find is Michelangelo studied things so that he could complete the project, whereas Leonardo would study things so he could understand the depths of where they came from, the depths of what they meant at levels that went basically to a metaphysical level at a lot of times. And what he did was he found himself lost in thought, right? Um, and inside of there, he would figure out, I mean, he was an intense polymath. He would figure out truths through his exploration. And that's what he was interested in, was finding the truths, not really getting the job done. This was exploration for him, versus Michelangelo was getting the job done and bringing it to light. So Mona
I
Lisa,
see.
100%, because she would be an embodiment of this. And then also because I love conspiracies, if you want to call them that.
Oh
And Mona
yeah,
Lisa is surrounded by so many of them. They're a
with
fun
her
rabbit
getting
hole.
stolen.
The stolen thing, there's some that think she wasn't really a she. There's some
Oh,
that notice that if you take I can't remember how they do it, but you can see that it was painted over, and that there was something else behind it, right? And Leonardo wasn't a man of mistakes. He was a man of symbolism and great lore. So all of these things,
Illuminati.
yeah. Well, I
I'm
mean,
gonna say some Illuminati.
if you dive into the Vitruvian Man, I believe is right. Like that's the name of his piece, the man
Yeah,
sitting there, the five sides, right, which equals the five senses, etc. That's another like beautiful piece that I think symbolizes his embodiment of the search of truth.
you want to be Nicolas Cage so bad.
Wait, the Mortal Kombat dude?
No, dude. What? Oh my gosh, the
Hmm.
Ghost Rider dude. The
The
Ghost Rider
actor.
dude.
Yeah. Hey, I like
Yeah.
Nick Cage. And I like that he just acts in absolutely everything. It's he's a fun character. I like
He was
interviews
in
with him because he's
National
so out
Treasure is
there.
what I'm thinking of.
Oh
National Treasure.
yeah. Yeah. All
Okay.
right.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
then
So you're gonna fuck Brigitte Macron, obviously.
I feel like I should say that. because then it only leaves one issue.
The guys from the Louvre.
I'm not gonna be able to go to France if I don't say that here. But
You're gonna get deported if you're
listen,
like,
this is the way the fucking game works, right? So like I
right.
can't get out of it. It is what it is, but I
Yeah.
admire the Louvre people. I think that's fucking cool. If I could metaphorically want to fuck around with somebody, it would
You would
definitely
smash
be
them.
some psycho outlaws than some fucking psycho politicians. Sorry, not
Okay, then
sorry.
I'm
And then also I saw how Bridget slapped her dude around. I also know that they had a relationship from the time he was like, what, 10 to 12 years old or some weird
yeah,
shit
he
like
was
that.
a, he was
No,
in
thank
middle
you.
school or
I
something.
don't want any part of that. So I think kill is harsh. I don't have any ill will. But not fuck around with. Let's switch it a little bit to fuck, marry, and not fuck around with. And yeah, that's where I stand on that.
Okay, we'll keep it
yeah.
that way so that you don't get deported from France next time you try to
Yeah,
visit.
thank you. You know, yeah. The
Sounds
Louvre
good.
people are interesting. That's I
Did
don't know.
you know? I read this morning and I fact checked it, and it's
Huh.
right. The password for the Louvre's security systems was Louvre.
Sure, somebody lost their job over that one, I would think, or they don't give a shit and they had their hands in
I don't
the
think
whole
they care.
situation. I mean,
Yeah,
like that's crazy. Like, yeah. Anyhow, we could probably go rabbit hole down that whole thing too, right?
it's
Who
fun. That's a
actually
fun
grabbed
one.
all this stuff?
Now it's like Louvre 1, 2, 3 or something.
Yeah. Maybe we won't try that out.
No, because that would be illegal.
I don't even want any of that crap anyway. You know,
You don't want
it's
this
I don't
the
want that treasure. It's
the
not.
jewel?
I mean, I don't know what I'd do with it. You know, besides lay around naked with it draped over my
Yeah, I was about to
body
say,
as I
just like
stare up at the ceiling. Yeah, maybe it's
just
pretty. Yeah,
vibe with it. Vibe
vibe
with
with
it.
it. Yeah, I suppose so. You know, they say crystals and shit have all this pent up energy, and sometimes yeah. Anyhow,
I
they
mean,
already
everybody
think
who
I'm
owns
crazy
them
enough based off this shit,
dead.
so I should probably stop.
I mean, we're gonna find some more rabbit holes for you to properly sound crazy because like
The
pretty tame. That's pretty tame.
It is
You
pretty tame. Yeah, if
absorbing historical crystal energy is probably like one of the more mild ones.
I think so. Yeah, if you look on my floor here or in this bookcase over here and the amount of let's call them esoteric texts I
Ooh.
have, yeah, that's probably pretty light reading talking about crystals. Yeah.
Yeah, but we'll have like a separate like Nick's bookshelf so everybody can explore what your book list is. That'll be a fun one.
Sure. Yeah, that could be a fun one.
All right, the next one is going to be another SEO specific one. Most brands don't do proper SEO, but they get results because they have backlinks from the press and they have SEO specialists that change things, but most of the efficiency is because the backlinks that the brand has.
So, you know, when I first got in SEO, I probably would have agreed with that. Here is why this person is maybe just they've got a misconception of what's going on, at least this day and age. This day and age, press is going to play a huge part in SEO. And when I say SEO, again, I don't like to come up with a new acronym because it's all the same to me. Search engine optimization, including LLMs, all your favorite AIs. If you speak to them, the game is still the same, only it's gotten more complex. So yes, there's always going to be two factors as far as I can conceptualize it. If I'm trying to imagine the future of algorithms in general and how they will prioritize anything that they spit out, whether that's a mention of your brand in the LLM, the top pages of Google, etc., then it's going to be based off the content, which now matters a lot. You have to bring something new to the table. You have to be the authority on the subject beyond just regurgitating the same crap that everybody else has said. You are to be an actual authority now because the algorithms can digest this information. That is not enough by itself. Without press and people noticing this information, you will not resonate in any of this stuff. And you can go talk to your favorite LLM, Claude, ChatGPT, whatever, and it's going to tell you the exact same thing. Now, whereas historically, I could say backlinks matter more than content, and I could have made an argument for that. Now, this day and age, I can't argue that. I think they are both equally as important. And if you are not doing everything, it's the time of doing absolutely everything, then you are doing yourself a disservice. It's time to build natural looking, authoritative websites, not even just websites, networks associated with the website itself, in order to get mentions, in order to get rankings, etc. And I see a lot of people falling off, thinking that things are just completely different. Everything is broken. No, everything is the exact same. It's just more complex. So there is a harder barrier to entry. There is more work that has to be done. The time of being a lazy fucking SEO is pretty much out the window. And you've got to do this full fucking time. You want to be a nomadic entrepreneur running your own website, making good money? You're going to have to work pretty hard at it. Even if you go the ads route and you focus primarily on ads, which I also think plays into building a natural network of things now from an SEO perspective, then you're still going to have to do a lot of learning in order to get it to work. But if you do, and you're just sensible about the fact that it is actually that simple, content plus press to those articles, etc., in the form of backlinks, which could change at some point, and maybe we include voice recognition inside of their mentions in that aspect, but it's all the same. Content and press, those are the two things. Try and conceptualize a world where that hierarchy can be broken. I've racked my brain around it, trying to think about, from the perspective of an engineer, what else could I do that would maybe break this cycle? I can't come up with a way, right? So to me, you initially had all these people saying, oh, SEO is dead, backlinks are so fucked, this and that. Well, it's completely erroneous. You can go ask your favorite LLM again what it values, and it's the same shit that we've always valued, because there is no escape from that value, at least not in the near future.
Right. So it is getting more complex, but that's not necessarily new, is it? It's like every time there's, something new, there's something else to be learned. So honestly, I feel like you're just saying the same things that are pretty consistent here.
That's it. Yeah. It's always gotten harder. There's always been more headache, but that's why I say now, in order to be a really good SEO, then you need to be a problem solver. You have to enjoy puzzles. You have to enjoy the complexities of certain situations, because if you don't, it's going to drive you crazy, because it's not always super easy to digest and get through. And then, they love throwing random wrenches in the form of algorithmic shifts that don't make any fucking sense. Basically instilling chaos to promote a lack of understanding, which then makes people fall off, right? But if you stick to the core belief always stays the same.
Right. And there are a lot of people I notice who are like freaking out and falling, like, you know what, we're just going to pivot to something completely different. Like, and I'm just like, guys, this has been the same for what? How long is Google? How old is Google?
That's a good question. Look it up.
Is Google?
I feel like I should know that.
27 years old.
Okay. Oh yeah. I remember the first video I ever watched on an SEO and what they did and how fast they scaled up to like 100 million. And they were bragging about, like, we don't even have business cards, like the whole thing. And that was at the time where you could just spam the shit out of stuff and get linkability. That's it. All of that. Yeah. They didn't even need backlinks back then. They did, but they just, stuff a handful of garbage with keywords and rank. God, I never got that taste. Well, I would have been in college, I think, when I saw that video.
80 years ago.
20, yeah, right? Something like that. Fuck, I'm old,
No, I'm just messing with you. But yeah. All right.
You
The
can call
next
me
one.
Unk.
Our regular take. Zero accountability has become so common and it's only getting worse. You make a mistake and blame something or someone else, i.e., any type of disorder or problem that one might have, and we are moving towards a post accountability society.
Oh man, me and you were just talking for the last hour before this about therapy and stuff, right?
Yeah.
And it dove into this. So yeah, I would agree with this because if you look at what a bunch of studies have shown, we are creating a sort of narcissistic societal norm through social media that loves the blame game. And there's so much disinformation as well that rage baiting, etc., emotional inputs that really tug at the heartstrings of the average human, yeah, create kind of these chasms where everything that affects them is somebody else's fault. But when we get at the core of it, and this is, I go through this all the time, and that's what we were talking about. If I have an issue with something or somebody else, and I sit with that issue, rage, sadness, agitation, whatever the fuck it is, and I speak through it, and I wash over that feeling over and over and over again, and I'll do this. I'll sit in a dark room and I'll talk out loud and I'll get different perspectives on the same conversation that in turn, every time I do it, comes back to myself, why I'm giving this much attention to an external issue that is causing me this much anguish, etc., which promotes a vicious cycle. Because it's up to you to reflect on what it is that's bothering you and understand that it's you giving your attention to this political asshole, to this war in Sudan, Israel, what the fuck ever.
Mm,
And while it's important to be conscious of some of this stuff, to let it create your reality is a huge mistake because these things are out of your control. And you are literally just driving yourself crazy thinking you can change the world by just getting upset at it or being sad at it, etc. The truth is, like, you need to pacify yourself, virtually in all matters, I would say. And so yeah,
right.
that's the way I feel about that.
I feel like once I realized that what you're saying is completely true, I became like, I feel like I took a lot more ownership over my life. And I think my life
Mhm.
just got better,
Yeah.
because
Yes.
instead of just thinking, like, oh my gosh, woe is me, everything that's happening to me is, unsurmountable challenges because everybody else is just doing stuff to me. You know, for example, I had this issue where, when you're traveling, you meet one of two types of people. They're either adventurers who like, want something new, want something fun,
Hmm.
or they're fleeing a life that they created for themselves, probably from
Yes.
problems that they caused by themselves. I was encountering a lot of the second type of person. I was like, why? Like, I can't understand why everybody who I encounter is like the most awful person that I've ever met. And I realized that it's because of, the way that I meet people, the energy that I give people. I come off as very like trusting, very open, very
Mhm.
non-judgmental. No, I realize some people just need to be judged. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
if I'm just like smiling and nodding while you're telling me the craziest shit I've heard in my life, like what does that make me, right?
Yeah, you're basically accepting their,
And
vibrational output to a certain degree. You're just taking on the trauma that they're having with themselves and absorbing it, which yeah,
yeah,
not
it's
the
not
best
good.
practice. No.
Once I stopped doing that and started having actual like boundaries and standards for the people that I keep around without,
Mhm,
I do love people just in general. So,
mhm.
it is hard. But once I realized that, I can love myself too, love myself enough to be picky about the people who I keep in my circle,
Yeah.
then my life became immediately so much happier.
What are some maybe like exercises that you do to make sure that you're not falling victim? to, that practice?
Yeah, I call it a trip and check. I
Okay.
think so. I'll go to a couple of trusted people and I'll, write down the same thing. Am I tripping? This is how I felt about this. And
Okay.
yeah, and then I'll compare what they say with like how I feel
Hmm.
and make my decision from there. So right now, I don't think that I have a good enough gut check and that I have to train my gut check to be like a normal person with good boundaries. So I
Hmm.
find people who are normal people with good boundaries and I test their gut check against my own gut check. And
Sure.
over time, I've been slowly training myself to realize, okay, this is what a normal person with normal boundaries would accept. Like,
Hmm.
is it okay to accept that somebody has stood you up when you prepare for them to have them over for dinner 3 times in a row? I'm thinking, maybe they're just going through something, maybe they just have a difficult life. I'll talk to my trip and check friends and they're like, Artemis, no, that's ridiculous.
Hmm.
Thinking, okay, maybe they're onto something.
Yeah.
So that's what I've been practicing to try to stay on top of having healthy boundaries around how people interact with me.
Yeah, I think that's great.
You have
Would
a
you
system too?
uh gosh, in recent years, and I know this is probably not the best way to go about it, but if I find personality traits in somebody where they're basically trying to push off the way they feel onto somebody else so that they don't have to feel it, I don't really give them too much time. I keep them at arm's length
Mm,
or I push them out until they get that kind of awareness, if they get that awareness. And I don't allow it to really infect my life, is the way I feel about it. It's harsh, but I found myself partaking in less bullshit since I've been doing that and taking care of myself better, which allows me in turn to be a better person, a better father, etc. So while
right.
harsh, I think it's been pretty good. Do you think that it would be possible to become like so aware of all of that that you don't really have to exercise it or practice it anymore, like sort of like a zen kind of relationship to protecting yourself? Or do you think it's like something that you constantly have to remind yourself and exercise through?
I think it depends on the person. If you mean you
Mm.
as in like the royal you with like everybody in general, I think that
Mhm.
there are ways that people can get to that point to where they're just kind of like, you know what, I trust myself enough to know that this is not okay, or I trust myself enough to know that this is the kind of person who I should be around, who I should be spending more time around, who I should put effort into like a good relationship with. For me, I don't think I'm that kind of person, to be honest with you. It's
Mhm.
not that I have like a, you know, vicious need for constant external validation from people who I love and trust, so I know that my brain is wired in a way to be overly trusting of people.
Sure.
And I've been on this planet for over 30 years at this point. I don't know if it's going to change anytime soon.
Right.
So, some people, and I feel like if some people have that awareness to where they know, like, you know what, I just don't have good judgment. I think that's fine. I have awful judgment in people. I'll be like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, he was the nicest guy ever. And then I walk away and my husband's like, that guy was like,
Oh
that
my
guy was
gosh.
probably a felon. Like, what are you talking
Guilty of the exact same thing, but it's funny
about?
because you and I have spoke about it too before, that we love hanging out with like fringe society. And like if I remember a lot of conversations that I really like enjoyed and valued high, it was always with somebody that if you spent too much time with them would probably not not be a good person to be around. But
Oh
there's a
yeah,
lot
but
of
they're so
interesting
interesting.
lessons there. Yeah, exactly. They don't operate the same way as everybody else. There's a lot of depth there. Oh,
Oh, for
yeah.
sure. But once you learn the difference, then it becomes more like I can recognize it when I see it now.
Hmm.
It's just a matter of like whether I'm willing to, entertain that or not. But
Entertain it.
sometimes I'll just do it just because people are just so interesting. Like
Yeah.
I wasn't put
Yeah.
on this earth to be around boring people.
No. Yeah, the idea of being around, people talking about the same shit all day long, etcetera, I don't get it. I
Gives you
don't
the
know.
ick.
I don't know what you learned there really.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's valid. Oh my gosh. The next one is going to be a strictly SEO
Okay.
hot take. This person says, and I'm keeping these anonymous so that you can roast freely. Unfortunately, on mid-tier competition niches, even a top SEO can't magically do things without a proper budget.
I'm gonna go ahead and say here's why they're right. We've spoken recently about the Well, they're right in the vast majority of the sense, because the average person, if you look at it from a complete white hat lens, where if you're a one person army, even if you like just manage to bring people to work for you for free because they believe in your cause, you've got unlimited content pouring out through your website, through social avenues. I guess technically, with the right cause, then yes, you could make something like that work, but it's so incredibly complex that it seems out of the scope of reality for, I would say, 99.9% of projects. And if we're talking about medium competition, even low competition now in a lot of degrees, definitely in high competition, then having no budget at all and the days of just being able to kind of manipulate the system and get where you want to rank with the bare minimum, is those days are pretty much over. You're competing against very high budgets, and the one thing that you can have in your arsenal that'll allow you to play the game alongside a decent budget is your knowledge, that might give you a competitive edge against the competition. And so, this day and age, when we talk about people ranking websites so that they can get an income stream, if you have absolutely no budget, I would say that you're going to be dead in the water, because trying to write all your content, bring something new to the table, maybe make videos, maybe get on social media, complete the entire EEAT platform, get your on page perfect, be an authority there with countless articles going up all the time, and then hoping that you get noticed to a degree that you could go viral and get some press going to you, is it's a very, I don't know too many people that have made that work, to be honest with you. I have
Right.
seen it happen. I remember when I first got into SEO, or not really when I first, but a few years after, a couple years after, a buddy of mine had a small website. Now, this is in a different era, but this is how it could operate. And he works in cybersecurity, and he'd figured out a hack that could be exploited, and put up a post about it. Overnight, this website with maybe like 10 referring domains received thousands of backlinks going all over the place. And me putting that website in Ahrefs, it shot up through the rankings overnight. At that point in time, SEOs were talking about link velocity being very dangerous. You don't want to get your site de-indexed by promoting things too hard. You can get sniped. By digesting what happened to that website overnight, I had a light bulb moment where it was like, no, you can create a narrative through the backlinks, where they come from, the diversification of how they're done, the way the anchors are completely different, or at least, natural looking. And you can try and emulate that. But the only way to emulate what happened there without doing it the exact same way, which is bringing a viral piece of content to the table, would be through a very large budget that can, kind of create that entire scenario. And so after that, I'd put out, it's an antiquated case study now, but it's on the website if anybody wants to go check it out. Where I took a big budget and I recreated what I'd seen there, and it had really great effects for the first like year and a half that I was using it, before I started experimenting with it too much, and the project died out. But it paid for itself and quite a bit more. So the proof was in the pudding there. It's even more complex to do now, but it's still completely doable, and it's still the way I do SEO, where you're blending things, but you need
Right.
a budget. Yes.
Right. I totally agree. Right now, I'm working with a client who her budget was so ridiculously low that I was like, I'm not going to do anything until you can get in a position where you can actually just raise the budget, because
Yeah.
it's just like I don't want to say it's a complete waste of time, but I mean, if you're not actually ranking for what you want to rank in, especially in like competitive industry and a competitive like local market, like I don't want people to be wasting their money. But
Yeah.
it's not like, it's not like it doesn't pay off in the end, though, is the thing. So
Yeah, but it's like, if you've got a $500 budget and you're trying to go per month budget, and you're trying to go after like a hyper competitive niche where these people are spending $20,000 a month, I don't know the time frame by which you'd have to, just keep chugging along to where you would start sniping anything from these huge
I'll
competitors.
tell
It's
you
just
this. I
not
had a client
reasonable.
who was doing $250 budget uh, a month for 2
Mm-hmm.
years and was
Yeah.
shocked at ranking 16th on
Yeah.
Google for
Yeah.
their intended keywords.
And that's actually still pretty good for a budget like that. I don't,
Is it?
even in local competition now, I don't see those kinds of budgets functioning for people. Especially when you take not just backlinks into account, but content generation, keyword research, and all the other research that has to go into building a good website and network.
Right.
Yeah, and as things go along, and I'm in SEO, I do some ads work, but not really for clients, not too many anyway. I still say that if you have a very limited budget, but good content and a good website, you could probably make some things happen with a $250 budget with like Facebook ads or Instagram ads or Google ads, maybe not so much just due to CPC, but
Yeah, no way.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, you would be paying like
yeah.
$5 per click or something.
Budget's gone in
Yes,
4 days.
but it's gone in like
Yeah.
2 days. Yeah.
Sorry about that. Hey, and then you get the nonstop calls. Hey, all you got to do is increase your budget, and maybe you'll make some money. Just increase your budget. That's literally all they talk about.
Yeah, seriously. I have a
Thanks a
client
lot,
who,
guys.
like, right now they're running Google Ads, and she's doing really, really well, especially
Hmm.
in the industry. And but the budget is like, it's kind of high. She's like, how can I get to a point where I'm not spending like 3.5K on ads? And I was like, but they're working for you. Like, it's
Yeah.
pretty high ticket item. You've got good cost per lead. Like, the only other way, like, you could go through like organic channels, but like, I guess you could do it with SEO, but that'll like take longer. So
Hmm.
but when it does, it's pretty much just raking in leads, and just, it's a lead magnet, and
Yeah.
it's on your own channels, and you're not really like paying
It-
for it at that point. Like, you have to maintain it, yes, but it's got a pretty solid ROI, but that does take
yeah.
time. So I guess there's like a place for both. It just depends.
But that's the thing. Like ROI is what they should be focusing on with the business, return
Right.
on the investment, right? Why would you cut something out if it's bringing you a return on your investment, even if that's like a few bucks? Well, you can probably like tweak it a bit, get more output out of it, etc. But you're on the right track. But yeah, people look for cost savings in the places that are making them money, and it doesn't make sense. Like, well, why do I need backlinks? It's a lot of
Yeah.
money for one link. Well, yeah, but again,
But over time,
go
like, that's the way to.
study.
Yeah.
You need it. So
Yeah.
yeah, I
And
don't know.
it's totally worth it, honestly. Like,
Yeah,
when done right, when done properly, SEO, when you put the proper budget behind it, like, it can do wonders,
yeah.
period.
Oh
So
yeah. There's nothing more beautiful than when you get something working and you've got a consistent revenue stream coming in nonstop. And for those of you that are newer out there, I'll tell you, it was like 4 years of me racking my brain around SEO before I really got projects to resonate that way. It was a fucking headache. It was horrible. One of the things that I always wanted to promote was free information for that exit, because when I got started, there wasn't much free information except for on weird forums. And even those were still convoluted with a bunch of bad information trying to sell you garbage products, etc. And I think a lot of people now are putting out free information. If you're willing to study, you can, kind of grasp this stuff.
the next take is a regular hot take.
Okay.
Surrogacy is weird and takes advantage of poor people. Just adopt.
Oh my gosh. All right. Um,
I'll just answer it because,
I,
like, I'm qualified as
I
like
think I'm
a
probably
woman.
with you. Let's see. Let's see. Go ahead.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
Because, first of all, how dystopian is it that you can, if you're rich enough, you don't even have to participate in one of the most like baseline biological human functions, like
Yes.
having a baby? That is like the epitome of privilege, is being able to outsource pregnancy. Here,
Yeah.
just put your life at risk, because women do still die in childbirth.
Mm-hmm.
Put your life at risk so that I can have a baby and I'll give you a lot of money. And you know, it's hard to even say no because I'm giving you like all this money.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I hate it. I
Yeah.
wish it would stop. And I judge harshly.
I do too. Yeah, I would agree with you completely. It's just something that gosh, it caught me off guard because I hadn't really put too much thought into it. But yeah,
Really?
absolutely. There's something so weird about the whole concept, not only from the people paying to do it, who my guess are, based on what they're doing, pretty ego driven, that they need to see a little one based in their image, though I can understand it as like a father myself. But from the person accepting the money to house a part of their own biology that then they know they're just like giving out to the world, we're talking about a sentient being that I don't know, it seems incredibly strange to me. However, now that we're talking about it, it does bring to mind my old neighbor, um, gay guy that was the surrogate father to his friend's child. And he had a full-on relationship with the child as well, right?
Hmm.
Um, and it all seemed really healthy, quite honest. And I'm like, I don't think it's still weird. I'm not going to be able to say that it's not right,
Hold on.
but
Wait, so did he, was it like his, like
sperm.
they had a, it was his sperm,
Uh
but the
huh.
person whose child it was the one who carried the baby?
Single female, yeah. But then she also
I
kept
think
the
that's,
baby, so that's where it's different, right?
yeah,
Like,
that's way
yeah,
different.
yeah. Okay, so it's not the same, really. Although he acted as the surrogate, right? But I can
I mean, it's
understand that
also
one.
like her DNA too, and
Yeah.
his DNA. So
Mm-hmm.
that makes it less weird in my
Yeah.
opinion, because it's not like
100%.
you're just having like a strange couple's baby just inside of you. You give birth and then it's like, here's your baby.
Yeah. 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 What? Here you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. And have you seen like the future of all this crap, where pretty soon they'll just be growing babies in labs and nobody will have to carry the term, etc. It's
Yeah.
pretty
I saw a movie about
dystopian.
that with Emilia Clarke in it, where they were like people who were like having babies in these pods that they would just like attach to their stomachs, and the companies would encourage the women to do it that way so they didn't have to take like time off or something for
Was that
pregnancy.
Children of Men? Is that film?
No, I can't remember the
No?
name for the
Okay.
life of me, but
Right.
it's maybe like 4 years old or something.
Oh,
It's a
okay.
chick who
Newer.
played the dragon lady on Game of Thrones, but you would never know it because her vibe is so different. Like
Uh-huh.
she's fantastic at
All
shape-shifting
right.
herself.
I gotta check it out. That sounds pretty interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's really dystopian. Yeah.
and then getting back to it, it's like there's so many kids that deserve a leg up. Shout out to Jabez Rubin and his family, a wonderful SEO, wonderful human being who, I met out on the circuit. Um, and yeah, they foster kids nonstop. At any given time, they always have like 2 to 4 kids, and just like the most wonderful
I
people. And
love
like, it's
that.
one of the most honorable things, in my opinion, is just, what better way to help? What better way to get out there and do something for somebody in need? And like, while you'll never solve like the bigger problem, right? Like, you're doing what you can, which I think is incredibly honorable.
I think it's
Even
awesome.
just it is. Saying it out loud makes me feel like a lazy loser piece of crap, quite honestly, because like, yeah, I feel like yeah, the opportunity is always there to do more, to help out in some way, shape, or form. And there's a lot of people out there, specifically, the innocence of children, that like deserves to be helped and preserved. Yeah. So.
Absolutely, totally agree. Another person who does that is another guest that we had on the podcast, Mark Ankusic.
Mhm.
And I didn't know until I don't even remember how it came up, but he was like, "Oh, sorry, it's a little late time for me because I had to put the kids to bed." I was like, "You have kids? I've known you for 5 years. There were never any kids in the picture." He said, "Oh yeah, they just come and go. I'm fostering some children and stuff." And
Wow.
I was like, I was thinking about it. I came to my husband and I was like, "I want to foster some kids," and he was
Right?
like, "No,
Might
we
take
could
some
really foster these
convincing.
cats." Yeah, it's hard. It's selfless, and it's selfless to the point where I have such an emotional attachment to everything that I do that like
Mhm.
letting those kids be free out in the world, that would crush me. So the
Yeah.
fact that they're selfless enough, and I know that they're emotional doing it too. They're just
Mhm.
strong enough to deal with that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Couldn't be me.
Strong people. Yeah.
Yes.
Very. Yes.
All right. The next one is a generalized marketing hot take, especially appropriate for this platform. YouTube family vlogs should be illegal.
Woo! Well, based on a lot of the recent history where you find out how militant and atrocious a lot of these families actually are behind the veil, I would initial reaction is like, yeah, I'm pretty against that. Like I even just in and of myself, like I try to keep my kid off Facebook as much as possible. I might put a picture up here and there. Usually it's going to be a story or something that disappears. But basically the way I see it is you're monetizing like one of the most sacred things that you can take part in, which is like the development of your family unit, the development of your love and alignment to those closest to you typically. And so to me it seems like a sort of bastardization of the way that I want to have my family, right? But
Right.
on the opposite side, um, I will say that like I do follow some people on Instagram and stuff that are talking about like homesteading and the taking care of their land together and this really like wholesome. But now that I'm thinking about it, it's not really like a vlog. They don't have their kids on there all the time. I'm trying to think of like one instance
Really.
where that's like what they're promoting, and it's not. They're promoting how to go about doing this. It's more of like a learning thing, right?
Right.
Not this is how I raise my kid, and then like I mean, most of that shit is staged, right? Like little Johnny's got to go do, the, for lack of a better way to put it, the circus animal tricks while mom
Yeah.
and dad are, validating themselves and what they do through the likes. But I would say anybody that focuses on that is probably not spending good time on nourishing the stuff that actually matters. And maybe there are instances where that's not true. I don't know about making them illegal, but I find it distasteful. Yeah, wouldn't be
I
for
feel
me.
like I can't think of like a single scenario where I think that it's okay is the thing. I was
Hmm.
hoping maybe you'd give me some like food for thought or something to chew on, but like
Hmm.
you mentioned the homesteading. I said, okay, homesteading, like even if the kids wouldn't be like the center of it and they just like mention the kids, I feel like
Hmm.
it's different from what family vlog channels tend
It
to do.
is. Yeah.
Yeah, so
I mean,
no,
family vlog is basically telling you the best way to go about raising a family, right? Like that's kind of what I'm picturing as family
they're just
vlog.
like idealized like
Hmm.
family
Yeah.
rearing. Like they're showing
Yeah.
like, oh, here's what we do every day. The camera's always in the kid's face, and
Yeah.
they're trying to portray as like a all the time happy family. And even if they're not, sometimes they'll be like filming their children in very vulnerable moments, like having a
Hmm.
temper tantrum or something.
Yeah.
And it doesn't ever not feel icky to me, especially after I've seen the chick. Well, what was the vlog? 8 passengers or 6 passengers or
Yeah,
something.
Mormon lady, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
and
the abusive one.
her
Yeah.
daughter came out and said, like, "This was hell for us." I'm
Mhm.
wondering how many kids in, like, 10 years will be coming out and saying, like, "This was the worst thing ever."
Probably
I
quite
think
a lot.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
I
just
think
go on the
so.
record of me saying I think it's gross.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I agree completely. I honestly, it's funny. I was thinking about this the other day. I saw like a fit check thing with like their kids on like a random post that popped up, and I got pissed off about it. I was like,
Why
what
are they worried
the fuck
about
do
what
these
they're
what
wearing?
yeah, what do these kids need to worry about like validation on such a superficial level? And it stems from what I would say are narcissistic personality traits that
Right.
seek validation from the adult that they try and pass down. And then if the kid ever deviates from that mindset, well, get ready for what I would
Yeah.
imagine is turmoil, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it'll be
no.
chaos. Like they
Make it
gotta
illegal, man. Fucking make it illegal. Yeah.
watching the evolution of this thought process has been
Mhm.
quite iconic. That's what I like
Yeah.
about you, Nick. You're not afraid to like muddle on things, and then if you change your mind, you're
Uh,
like, yeah, you know what? Actually,
yeah, I'll switch all the time. I don't have an
you get
issue with
it.
that. I'm never really too set in my ways. I try and remain open.
You're
Because yeah,
serious, but you don't take yourself that serious, and I respect it.
try not to.
Okay, I'm gonna give another like general hot take, and then I'm just
Mhm.
going to throw my hot takes at you so you can digest them and let me know what you think.
Okay.
Okay, so it should be mandatory for everyone to work at least 1 year in a customer service position.
Man, as somebody that worked in customer service as a bartender all through my 20s, that was something that would get brought up all the time.
Really? When people are
Yeah.
asking if you mean, they're like, "Oh, you should try this." You
Mhm.
don't know what it's like.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And something I don't like about that is that people get absorbed in what they're doing. They want to be validated for what they're doing. They want people to understand what they're going through, who they are, blah, blah, blah. And to me, it's all bullshit, really. You find comfort within yourself. And typically, if somebody is an asshole to the waiter, if somebody doesn't know how to act or be appropriate with somebody who is helping them out and serving, then it's a issue on their personality, learned behavior, or just some kind of biological nature that they're assholes. That is what it is. Letting it get to you and saying that everybody needs to do it is the same as the people that say everybody should join the military for X amount of years in order to live in a country. I don't agree with that either. Um,
Whoa.
and what really needs to happen is there needs to be an acknowledgement that humans are all special in their own way. And there's no depending on anything. It's just we're all getting through this thing in the best way we know how. And if you're working customer service and somebody is an asshole, to imagine that they have to walk a mile in your shoes is only hurting yourself. Like, just tell them, maybe you can't tell them to fuck off, but in your head, it's fuck off. Go live your life. You're obviously an angry fucking person, or just there's something wrong, and don't allow yourself to absorb that shit. I
That
had
makes
a lot of fun in being a bartender. It was a wild time. I wouldn't do it again, but I had a great time, especially at Crowbar. Shout out to Steve. Yeah, that was a really beautiful time, and there's a lot of good people there. There's a lot of things to be shared and had. I do think that you find interesting truths in serving people because you deal with every single personality out there, right? The same as there's some people that are bad, there are people that are really interesting, fun to talk to. You build bonds, etc. And then going to this, I guess it's worth noting. I think a lot of the issue with the service industry, particularly here in the United States, comes from a political level. If they're paying the waiter or the bartender 213 an hour legally, expecting the patron to have to supplement that income, that's bullshit. at the max level. You know, I actually hate tipping culture. I lived off it for so long. And I still tip egregiously because of my habits from that time period, but I hate it. It doesn't make any
Right.
sense. We should get livable wages as human beings, no matter what the we're doing. And that would sure absolve a lot of these issues. A lot of these issues are, well, you need to walk a mile in my, no, you need to get paid properly for the shit that you do, right? And
Right.
everybody deserves, no matter what their job is, to get at least the bare minimum for a good, relaxed lifestyle. And
You
that's
know,
my honest take on that.
tipping's not a thing here in Europe.
Yeah.
So I was at a ramen restaurant in Amsterdam last week, and there was this guy, and I knew he was American just based off of the classic American fit. He was with his son, and
Mhm.
he had a good conversation with the lady who was checking him out. And then I was waiting behind him in line to also check out, and he goes, "There's no place to tip on the receipt." And the girl looked confused. She was like, "No, like why would
Yeah.
there be?"
Why?
And I turned to him and I was like, "It's not like that in Europe." And he
Mhm.
goes, "Oh, so like how can I tip you?" And then she was like, "I mean, I think we have a jar around here somewhere." And I explained to
Yeah.
him like this is not like it's not expected, like
Mhm.
and it's not common at all. And
Yeah.
actually it's detrimental when Americans go abroad, especially to touristy destinations that have like a lower cost of living and start throwing around tip money because
Yeah.
that makes locals more likely to treat foreigners better than locals because they know the foreigners will pretty much like tip them. I know in Dutch culture, it's seen more of like a bribery of sorts. It's like, why are you trying to give me like your bribe
Yeah.
money for service? It's like disrespectful almost sometimes,
Mhm.
depending on like the environment. But in general, like the tipping culture is just, I'm now used to it to where I don't have the automatic urge to just tip and I don't feel like a bad person if I don't tip. But
Mhm.
it took me like at least 2 years to get to that point, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah. You know, there's certain companies here in the States now that operate like co-ops, which I think is way more interesting. One that I've gone to in Austin is called Black Star Co-op. And, you know, they're adamant, no tipping, because we all get livable wages. We share the money that comes in through this business from the top down. And there's no need for that. And that's the way it should be. You shouldn't have to rely on the kindness of strangers to make do. That doesn't that
Right.
doesn't make sense. You're doing a job. Um,
Yeah,
yeah.
for sure. And to the original point, you were talking about how you don't really think everyone should work in customer service because it wouldn't really change anything for the people who need, that kind of insight.
Yeah.
I kind of agree, but for a different reason.
Huh.
So, have you ever met someone who they're literally like the most annoying service person ever and they're just rude and unhelpful for no reason? And you think, oh my gosh, thank God you're just like nerfed to be like a McDonald's employee instead of being like a politician. You know what I
Yes.
mean?
Yes.
Some people,
Completely.
like, I feel like even in those customer service positions, if someone's gonna be a bad person, working in customer service isn't gonna really fix that.
No,
So
I
it's
don't
like,
think so. It's gonna make them more bitter and agitated because again, like the work is all in yourself, right?
yeah.
Regardless of the job you do, regardless of everything. Yeah.
Okay. Rapid fire Artemis hot takes.
Okay.
Lawns are one of the greatest scams of all time.
Yes.
Okay. Yogurt goes on everything.
No.
F you. Elon Musk is Elon Musk is not a genius, he's just a highly motivated crackhead.
Oh gosh, I have to like extend because he pisses me off. I don't like the guy, but I don't want to say I don't. He's intelligent, but he acts like an asshole, and he's stupid in a lot of ways. So that's where I stand with that.
Valid.
Yeah, not everybody with a high IQ is a good person. That's I guess what I'll get at.
Most people with a high IQ are not good people, and that's my other hot take.
Yeah.
I'm
All
just
right.
putting that there for
All
you.
right. I'll have to think on that one.
90% of advertisements that are sponsored on YouTube are shady at best, outright scams at worst.
It feels that way for sure. So many people in front of a fucking blank board writing down stuff as they sales pitch you. I don't get it.
No, and it's bad too because like those I watch a lot of like true crime videos because I have mental health issues.
I like
And
them
they'll be
too.
like stopping in the middle of the true crime video and being like the most inappropriate interjection. You're talking about someone's life, someone who lost a family
Oh,
member, and then they'll just be like, which
Dude,
reminds me of our sponsor today, HelloFresh, and you're like, what?
the other day when I told you I was listening to Carl Jung, it was on YouTube because it's the quickest one I could pull up. And like as I'm there just in my own headspace, boom, here comes a fucking ad just jarring me out of it. And I would get so upset, but I didn't want to break the cadence of just listening to it. So I didn't change it. And, you know, an hour and a half in, I'm realizing like, how often did my thought process get broken? Thank God the skip option is there, but still, just God. Oh, that made me
It's
so
breaking the
angry.
immersion. I pay for no ads on YouTube, by the way. That doesn't like stop
I
the
should probably,
sponsored content though.
yeah, right.
So,
You know, and that's part of the reason, you know, for those of you watching, we are not monetized on YouTube because I hate ads coming through shit. So, yeah,
you're welcome.
we don't make a little money here. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, you know, maybe check out the website and shit. I know we don't plug it, but sure, yeah, it sure helps.
Yeah, so thank you guys for being able to still support us, keeping our videos not just ad free, but also sponsorship free, because
Yes.
nobody's going to sponsor us because our topics are too spicy. So please take pity upon
That
us
too.
and
Yeah.
you know, buy some links from us. Is what
Yeah.
I'm trying
Yeah.
to say.
That could help. Yeah.
Okay, so after you go and you buy links, you can come back and smash that like button if you find this video helpful or funny or entertaining, or if you just blatantly just disagree with our hot takes and you want us to make more hot takes so that you can just be mad on a random Tuesday afternoon from
Yeah. Those of you
Oh,
that come into our videos and complain and call us idiots and stuff, keep it coming. Yeah, terrific.
it's our lifeblood.
We love y'all. We love y'all.
Yes, we love you. Thank you to our lovers and our haters and all of your mothers. So
Yes.
anyway, we will catch you guys in the next one. If you have any ideas for any topics that you want us to cover or you would like to hear us rant on, please feel free to leave them in the comments below. And we will catch you guys in the next one. See ya.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching. If you found this helpful, make sure to give us a like, drop a comment, subscribe, so you don't miss out on any future SEO insights. And hey, if you're serious about your rankings, head over to SirLinksalot.co, check out our premium link building services, guides, and free SEO tools. See you next time.